Good morning, everybody. It's a great morning. Got my coffee, and I thought I'd come to a beautiful water view in Double Bay. It's a beautiful runoff that takes the storm water all the way to beautiful Double Bay. And if anyone as a side product has actually been looking, there's a new government regulatory website that suggests the cleanliness or indicates the cleanliness of the harbour, Double Bay, Rose Bay. It's terrible. So probably the moral of the story is the dogs can swim there, but we shouldn't. Anyway, the morning talk I thought I might talk about is this leptospirosis outbreak, supposed outbreak that we're experiencing in Sydney currently. There is a lot of media reports that are out there. There is a lot of scare campaigns that are out there. And yes, I know I sound like Donald Trump. Don't necessarily respect or admire anything that Donald Trump does, except to say that he does attack media, and in this case, I think, especially for the leptospirosis, it's completely true. Let me give you a few facts, and then we'll discuss what we need to do about it. The first is that there is 5 and possibly 6 cases of leptospirosis in Sydney over the past 12 months, not 2 weeks, 12 months. It has been suggested that this has all happened in the last 2 weeks, which would be quite alarmist and quite scary, and we probably start vaccinating. It's not true, it's 12 months. Secondly, 3 dogs came from one family, and we have no history of where the dogs came from. They probably came from southeast Queensland, where leptospirosis is endemic. We do not know where those 3 animals came from. No one is reporting that. Okay? So then we have, let's remove the 3 cases. So we have 2 and possibly 1 other case. One is a very sad case of a greyhound that we've learned about, which is incredibly unfortunate and is probably not explainable. The second is a case of a dog that did actually pass away from leptospirosis, and that dog was in Surrey Hills, Redfern area. So yes, there is leptospirosis. Leptospirosis is a disease that not only will kill a dog, but will kill people as well. It's a disease, it's a bacteria, and the bacteria can attack the kidneys and the liver and cause fatal renal disease. It's spread by rats, hence why I thought I'd come to a flood zone, the beautiful water views of Double Bay. It's spread by rats, okay, and it's spread by dairy cows, not too many dairy cows, but we know that rats can affect people and dogs. If rats urinate in a body of water, fresh water, and animals go in or people go in with cuts or ingest the urine directly, then there is a chance that the bacteria can spread in our bodies or in the animals' bodies. It is a disease that if we notice the early signs of sickness being vomiting, diarrhea, we can treat with antibiotics. It's completely responsive to antibiotics as long as we get the antibiotics in early enough. So it's incredibly unfortunate, and I know my colleagues at the emergency centres have worked incredibly hard and tirelessly on certain animals, and unfortunately we've lost them because we were unable to treat them early enough. And in those cases, there is a chance that the vaccine that is available will work. There is a chance. The vaccine, the leptospirosis that we know, there are 2 subtypes, if that makes any sense. It's a bacteria. There are 2 subtypes. One of them is Leptospirosis copenhagen, and the second one is Leptospirosis australis. Copenhagen is the one that the vaccine is based on. The vaccine is given 2 or 3 vaccines, is 100% effective against Copenhagen. The vaccine is not effective in any way against australis. So even if we do vaccinate using the leptospirosis vaccine, there is a chance, because no one has been able to culture the urine or the blood to work out exactly what subspecies we're dealing with. So we are very happy to vaccinate, but there are questions associated with the vaccine. Finally, I can't remember what I was going to say. It'll come to me in a minute. So finally, what I wanted, let me just summarize, and perhaps Yeah, PCR. Thanks, Dr. Min. You're amazing. The test that we do, that just the test we can't actually diagnose the bacteria. The test that we actually do is looking at the antibodies in the system, and so it's not 100% conclusive that that's what actually that's what actually is affecting these animals. So as much as the PCR is incredibly effective, we need to actually do a culture, do an actual culture, and that's why I want to take my hat off to the University of Sydney, who are running a study now and asking for blood samples, serum samples, and urine samples that we can send and analyse to try and find out what subspecies this is. That will give us a much better epidemiological idea as to the severity of the disease in Sydney. And so if you want to take part in that study, we can make an appointment and we can collect blood and urine. It's a reasonably simple test, and we can send it off to the university. So I want to applaud Sydney University for doing, leading this with some science, with some evidence, so that we can actually provide you, our pet owners, with the truth. So, summaries, very, very important summaries. If you're worried, let's just vaccinate. Okay, the risk of vaccination is probably incredibly small. There is a risk, no doubt, because we're giving a bacterial vaccine. Okay, step one, there is a risk, but it's probably small. We recommend 2 vaccines 2 weeks apart, possibly 3, but 2 is probably okay. We cannot guarantee that the vaccine is going to be effective. We cannot guarantee that the vaccine is going to be effective. However, in saying that, the vaccine is probably pretty good, and we think that the most likely serovar of leptospirosis that's affecting us in Sydney is Copenhagen. It is not an outbreak. Let me stress this, it's not an outbreak. It is probably an indicator of the natural endemic state of this disease in Sydney. It is low risk. And then the final thing is, keep your dogs away. My dog is here, and there's a fence and there's water where rats are. Keep your dog away from freshwater streams and runoff and wastewater. Keep your dog away from rats. I know apparently we're never any more than 1 metre away from a rat at any time in Sydney, okay? However, what we need to do is, if we can keep our dogs away from rats or where rats might urinate, and puddles that are in freshwater, stagnant water, then the dogs aren't able to get it, okay? And that goes for all the laneways in Surrey Hills and Redfern. If the animals stay away from stagnant water or rats themselves, then there won't be a risk. I hope that all makes sense. If there's any questions, post them here afterwards, we'll answer them. Look at our website, follow up on our website. There's a pop-up on the front page that gives you all the history. We're keeping in contact with New South Wales Health. We're keeping in contact with DPI, which is the primary industries regulatory body composed of veterinarians who are watching the space, and we will be informed if there's any changes. I hope all that makes sense. Happy morning to everybody. Happy Thursday. And I hope my hair is as good as Trump's today. Cheers. Bye-bye.